题该不该，该不该停止这种想法？我想要占据你，占据你的美，占据你的一切。
Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. I'm Zhong Tong.
And I'm Luo Xiaoyi.
Today, we are going to explore a really interesting topic: how ISO 9000 and ISO 9001 standards can be applied in the education sector.
Exactly, most people think of ISO standards as something for factories or business, but in fact, more and more schools and universities are using ISO 9001 to manage their internal process and improve their quality.
Right, think of it like this. Education is also a service industry. Just like any organization, we have customers, our students, and we want to make sure our processes are consistent, reliable, and continuously improving.
In this session, we will take you through how ISO 9001 works in education, from understanding the standards to the implementation process, documentation, internal audits, and some real examples from all around the world.
And to make this session more engaging, we will mix a few different formats: short teaching parts, role play, interviews, and even a simulated audience scenes.
Let's get started with the basics. What's ISO 9000 and what's ISO 9001?
Hello, my name is Zhong Tong. Today, I will explain ISO 9000 and ISO 9001. We will see what they mean. We also see how they help schools. This part is about building quality in education. Let's start. First, some short facts. ISO stands for the International Organization for Standardization. It makes global rules for quality. The ISO 9000 serves in the foundation for quality management. It gives the idea and words we use. ISO 9001 gives the requirement for certification. It tells an organization what to do, have a QMS, a quality management system. Why does this matter for school? Education now uses some business-style quality systems. This helps schools be consistent and fair. On the scene, you can see the PDAC cycle: plan, do, check, act. We will use this cycle later. ISO was founded in 1947 in Geneva. It makes standard use worldwide. There are over 24,000 ISO standards today. The ISO 9000 series is the most used for quality system. In school, ISO helps keep things steadily. It covers administration, teaching, evolution, and improvement. A clear system helps students and staff. It also helps some stakeholders and the school care about quality. ISO 9000 defines the vocabulary and main idea of quality management. It explains real-life process and non-conformity. It suggests post-thinking and system thinking. It also focuses on the customer. In education, the customer is the student. ISO 9000 is a guide. It is not certifiable. It helps leaders align internal processes with global standards. That means schools can use the same language as other organizations. This makes communication clearly. This slide shows ways to make inferences. We use inferences to understand people and texts. First, infer characters' thoughts and feelings. Look at what they say and do. Second, analyze action and dialogue to find hidden intentions. Third, use background and relations to explain behavior. Next, Consider the author's purpose and the point of view. Ask, why did they write this? Think how the authors will shape the message. In our ISO study, influences help us with reports and feedback. We use it to understand why a process fails or succeeds. ISO 9001 is the practical standard. It shows the requirement for quality management system. It focuses on process, clear documents, and audit. It also focuses on continuous improvement. In schools, ISO 9001 provides the school has a structure for quality. It covers curriculum design and teaching delivery. It covers student service and exam materials. It even covers facility management. By following ISO 9001, a school makes process consistent. The school raises accountability and keeps standard over time. This slide lists the main ISO principles as short evidence points. Customer focus means listening to students, parents, and employers. Engagement of people means all staff take part in quality work. Improvement means steadily and constant change for the better. Evidence-based decision means using data, not guesswork. Leadership means leaders set a clear direction for the quality. Process approach means every activity is part of a system. Relationship management means working well with stakeholders. All these ideas center on the work quality. We use this principle to judge if a school follows ISO well. Now look at ISO 9001 structure. It has 7 main clauses. I will explain each briefly. Context of the organization. Know your internal and external features. Know your stakeholders. Leadership. Top leaders must show commitment. They set the quality policy. Planning. Set quality objectives and identify risks and opportunities. Support. Provide resource, training, and good communication. Also control documents. Operation. Run and main activity. Like teaching, exams and service. Performance evaluation. Measure and review results. Use audit and feedback. Improvement. Act on findings and make change to get better. These clauses form a loop. They follow the PDAC cycle. Start with context and leadership, then plan and support the work. Operate the process, track performance, and then improve. This loop repeats to ensure continuous improvement. Now, I will present a real case. The Polytechnic University of Milan got ISO 9001 certification in 1993. This makes it one of the early adopts in higher education. Background and program. Before ISO, the university has inconsistent admin work. Different departments use different forms and steps. This caused delays and confusion. Strategies in implementation. They adopted a centralized quality management system for admin and support service. At the same time, departments keep autonomy for teaching and research. They introduce regular internal audits to find weak points. Core improvement mechanism. Internet audits point out gaps in communication and documents. Departments work on these gaps step by step. They documented procedures and trained staff. Resource. Communication improved between admin and faculties. Documentation become standard across the university. Administrative efficiency rose. Paperwork become clear and faster. The university kept renewing its ISO certification and keep improving. Lesson. This case shows ISO can work in big, complex university. Central rules plus departmental flexibility can balance quality and admit freedom. This case is about a national reform. The Philippine government asked state university to adopt ISO 9001. The goal was to modernize and make public higher education more efficient. They wanted better record keeping and clearer policy. Implementation and changes. At first, many staff resisted. They say ISO was extra paperwork. Training and leadership support were key to move forward. After implementation, record management improved. Policy become more consistent. Survey delivered to students become better. Public accountability improved. Citizens could say clearly survey standards. Top-down support helps start change, but success needs local ownership and training. Here is a simple table of benefits and challenges. Benefit: standardized procedures, improve accountability, data-driven improvement, strong reputation. Changes: heavy documentation work, staff resistance to change, need for training and resources, risk of over-standardization if applied with no care. The key point is, benefits are real, but school must manage the change well. Leadership and training are crucial. To finish, let me give the key takeaways. ISO 9000 gives us the principle and vocabulary. ISO 9001 gives the implementation and certification steps. They focus on management processes, not on teaching methods. They encourage transparency, accountability, and continuous improvement. Most importantly, ISO helps build a quality culture in education. As future educational leaders, we should use this tool to support learning. Thank you for listening.
Hello everyone, my name is Lo Xiaoyi. Today I want to talk about something you might think is only for factories or big corporations, but it's actually changed how universities and schools operate around the world. ISO 9001. We are going to explore how this standard shifts the idea of quality in education, from relying on just one brilliant teacher to ensuring the entire institution is top-notch. Well, now think about your favorite product, maybe your phone. You expect it to be consistent, right? ISO 9001 is basically the blueprint for achieving that. Consistency in an educational setting. Our goal today is simple: to understand how ISO 9001 reshapes and boosts the efficiency and accountability of schools. Here is our quick roadmap. We will cover quality's foundation. ISO 9001 defined the absolute basics. Next, we will analyze programs and progress, standardizing the student flow, how it applies to your journey. Then, we will use the case study compass to look at real-world results from around the globe. Finally, we will land on the grand conclusion: system over self, the biggest change this standard brings. Now, let's jump right into the basics. So, what is ISO 9001? It's an internationally recognized standard for a quality management system, or QMS. Forget the jargon, Its core philosophy is based on two simple things: constant improvement and being customer focused. In our context, the customer is, of course, the students and all stakeholders. The standard essentially says if you want to be constantly good, you need to follow three rules. The first, clear procedures. Every task, from signing up for a class to using the library, must have a clear, written procedure. No more waiting it. Second, performance indicators. You cannot improve what you don't measure. We need specific metrics to check if we are actually meeting our goals. And third, continual improvement. This is the famous PDCA cycle: plan, do, check, act. It means we are always looking for ways to do things better, not just maintaining the status quo. Crucially, remember this: ISO 9001 is a management framework. It doesn't tell a professor what to teach. It tells the university how to manage the teaching process efficiently. Now, let's get specific and see how this ISO standard applies to your educational journey. Imagine this simple flow chart, which represents the core life cycle of a student in any institution: admissions, teaching, assessment, feedback, and improvement. ISO 9001 forces institutions to look at this flow, our simple flow chart, and apply clear rules to every stage. It ensures nothing is left to chance. Admissions needs clear criteria for entry. Teaching needs standardized process for courses delivery and materials. Assessment demands consistency and fairness in grading. Feedback requires a systematic machinist to connect and analyze student comments. And improvement uses the data from all previous stages to fix the next cycle. The result: every single step must have a responsible person and measurable goals. It helps the school operate like a well-oiled machine, ensuring quality is built into the system, not just depend on individuals. Let's look at our first case, the Polytechnic University of Milan in Italy. They are pioneers, having adopted ISO 9001 way back in 1993. What did they do? They created a centralized quality system that covered all departments. That sounds rigid, but here's the clever part. They still allowed a lot of autonomy at the faculty level. This was key to their success because it helped them ensuring consistency in administration and service, like clear enrollment procedures, while still allowing the flexibility needed for world-class research and specialized teaching. Essentially, they got the best of both worlds: consistency and flexibility. Our next example shows the power of ISO 9001 on a national scale. In the Philippines, the government launched a nationwide reform to tackle performance and accountability issues. Their strategy: they encourage all state universities and colleges to become ISO 9001 certified. This was a massive undertaking, but it worked because it forced institutions to confront a universal problem: inefficiency. Once these colleges documented all their processes, what they do, why they do it, and who is responsible, they could immediately support and fix the broken parts. It allowed them to identify, for instance,
redundant paperwork or slow administrative loops, and fix them systematically. This whole process boosts their performance, improves their accountability to the public, and shared best practices across the entire public education sector. A huge win for systematic improvement. Finally, let's look at a case in the United States, the Clark County School District. This case is all about the bottom line, efficiency and savings. ISO 9001 implementation here reportedly saved the district millions of dollars. How? Not by cutting teachers, but by streamlining administrative procedures. They dramatically reduced redundant paperwork and simplified complex internal processes. As the bar chart shows, the measurable efficiency gains demonstrated that when you manage a school like a well-organized system, you free up resources, money, and time that can be redirected back to the core mission, teaching and learning. It shows ISO 9001 is a smart business tool for education. Now, let's bring all these examples together and land on the main takeaway. What is the biggest transformation ISO 9001 offers? It moves our focus on educational quality away from individual teacher excellence, though that remains essential, and shifts it firmly to institutional performance excellence. We all know we have amazing, dedicated teachers, but if the registration process is a mess, or if the assessment standards are inconsistent across faculties, the student experience still suffers. ISO 9001 creates a robust scaffolding, a system that ensuring high quality isn't left to luck, but is a predictable outcome of well designed and constantly managed procedures. It's about building a better machine, not just hiring better mechanics. In closing, ISO 9001 is the blueprint for creating modern, accountable, and high performing educational institutions globally. Thank you very much for your time and attention. I hope this gave you a new perspective on how management standards shape our learning environment. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm conducting our internal quality audit for the ISO 9001 system today. Thank you for taking the time to meet. May I ask a few questions about your department's teaching process?
Of course, please go ahead.
Let's start it with course evaluations. Could you show evidence that courses evaluation are conducted regularly and that the results are actually used for improvement?
Yes, here are our latest evaluation summaries and the action plan we create based on student feedback. For example, many students mentioned they wanted more interactive sessions, so we've added more group discussion in our lesson plans this semester.
That's excellent. It's good to see that feedback leads to actual change. How do you make sure that your assessments are aligned with the documented grading policy?
Each lecturer is required to submit their assignment plan at the beginning of the semester. Then, our quality committee reviews it to ensure that grading method and weighting are consistent with the university's policy.
Very systematic. I like that approach. During my review, I also checked that regards for feedback response time. I noticed that some of them were missing or not updated. Could you make sure these records are documented properly next cycle?
Yes, that's true. We had some delays due to staff turnover, but we will make sure to improve our documentation process for better traceability.
Good, that's excellent. What ISO 9001 emphasizes continuous improvement through better control and documentation. Before we finish, can you briefly share how your department communicates improvement action to staff?
We hold a monthly departmental meeting where we review audit findings, discuss progress, and assign follow-up actions. Everyone gets a summary report, so the entire team stays informed and accountable.
That's great teamwork. I will include that as a strength in the audit report. Thank you for your cooperation and openness today.
Thank you. We appreciate this audience because they help us identify small gaps before they become big problems.
Exactly, that's the spirit of ISO. Not to find fault, but to ensure the system keeps improving.
As you can see, internal audits aren't about blaming people. They are about ensuring competence and promoting improvement.
Right. Audits keep the quality management system alive and evolving, helping us move toward excellence step by step.
Thank you for joining us today. As the quality manager of our university, could you share your view on how ISO 9001 improves educational quality?
Sure, ISO 9001 brings structure and clarity to our operations. It helps us align teaching, administration, and support service under one consistent framework. It's not just paperwork. It ensures that what we promise to students actually matches what we deliver.
That's a great point. So it builds transparency and accountability.
Exactly. It also builds trust among stakeholders, parents, students, even accreditation bodies. When they see that we follow recognized quality standards, it reassures them that we are committed to continuous improvement, not just complaints.
I see. But what challenge do institutions usually face when implementing ISO 9001?
The biggest challenge is mindset change. Some teachers and staff initially see documentation as extra work, but once they realize it helps ensure fairness and consistency in evaluation and resources management, their attitudes start to shift positively.
So ISO 9001 is not just about rules. What's more about culture?
Exactly, in the long run, it helps us build a quality culture where everyone feels responsible for improvement. That's the real success of ISO. It creates an environment where excellence becomes a habit.
That's a wonderful insight. Thank you for sharing your experience and thoughts.
Thank you. I hope this encourages more educators to see quality management as part of leadership, not
So, looking back, ISO 9001 may not directly measure how well we teach, but it builds the structure that supports good teaching.
exactly. It's like the foundation of a building, invisible but essential. It ensures constancy, fairness, and accountability.
And we can see from global example, Italy, the Philippines, the US, that ISO 9001 works when it's adapted properly to education.
I think the key message is ISO 9001 helps institutions from personal effort to system effort. It's a mindset of continuous improvement.
That's right. And in today's competitive education environment, ISO certification is becoming less of an optional badge and more of a mark of professional management.
Thank you all for watching our presentation. We hope this gave you a clear picture of how ISO 9001 can transform educational service.
And maybe next time we will see more universities here aiming for that ISO certificate.